Hi everyone, it's Dianne Chikhaoui here, and Klala's behind the camera. Say hi, Klala.
Hi everyone, I'm here.
He's hiding. Okay, so we are really excited about our holiday tour and workshop in Tunisia this year. So this area is an absolute haven for holiday makers, especially for people from England, Spain, France, Poland and Germany. Very, very popular with those countries. Not so much in Australia and the US, I guess, because it's a little bit further away, but it deserves to be well known. It's an amazing destination, it really is. So last year, Klala and I travelled to Tunisia to see family and to travel around a bit and see the sights. And we had such a great time that we would really like to share it with others. So we've organised a 10-day tour, including a workshop with us, to see this incredible country, and we can't wait. So I'd like to talk about some of the different areas we're going to visit. First of all, I wanted to speak about Monastir, because that's probably where you will first arrive. It's got an international airport there. It's a port city, and it's known very well for its textiles and manufacturing salt and soap and olive oil. And it's named after its well-known ribat, which is a monastery or a fortress, so Monastir, monastery. And it was guarding against invasions by the sea, dating back to about 796 AD. And the fortress was a film location for Franco Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth, and also for Monty Python's Life of Brian and other productions. And it was the site of battles between Julius Caesar and his enemies. Now there's a souk nearby with carpets, ceramics, silver jewellery, leather goods, wall hangings, wood carvings, embroidered gowns, and those pointy babouche slippers or shoes. And there's a museum of folk arts and traditions of Monastir, which has traditional Tunisian costumes, decorations, woven items, and copper objects. Now, we're going to base our tour in a lovely hotel in Monastir, which is a few minutes away from the international airport, so very convenient. We had a fabulous time last year in this hotel, and the friendly staff there just couldn't do enough for us. The hotel had recently undergone renovations before we arrived. We felt so comfortable there. Breakfast, lunch and dinner are all inclusive. It's buffet style, so there's a great variety of foods that you can choose from. And the only downside is that you might have to put a bit of a limit on how much you eat, because it's limitless. It's all very fresh too, freshly prepared and very yummy. There's 2 large pools there, and there's a few steps back behind the pools is the beach. And there's so many things that you can do on the beach if you choose. You can go out for boat rides, windsurfing, parachuting, all sorts of things that we probably won't do, but it's available for people if they want to. There's also camel rides on the beach if you're into that sort of thing as well. So we are looking forward to starting our tour in Monastir. So for the first 3 days of our trip, we are going to have a workshop at the hotel, and that's going to be quite an intensive time where you learn some of our very unique techniques, and we'll have fun just working away. We'll stop for lunch, of course, and then in the afternoon you'll have a choice of either continuing your work or spending time at the hotel, and there's lots of things to do. There's the beach and the pools, and they have what they call animateurs, which are people that are in each hotel and they entertain the guests. So they put on shows, they dance, they do all sorts of different things, which is a bit of fun. There is a hammam, which is a place where you bath and have massages, so that's a little bit special too. And we've got some other things on the program as well during those first few days where we just stay at the hotel and we'll have fun. So the first area we're going to visit away from Monastir is an area called El Jem. Now, it's got a magnificent amphitheatre there that was built in, I think, 238 AD, and it's the third largest amphitheatre from Roman times in the world, and it's slightly smaller, just slightly, but it's so much better preserved than the Colosseum in Rome. In 1979, the El Jem Amphitheatre was listed in the UNESCO World Heritage List as well. So it's a very special place to visit, very atmospheric. It's probably the most spectacular building from Roman times in Africa. And it was built for events popular at the time, such as gladiator fights. It was also used as a filming location for movies such as Monty Python's Life of Brian. Now, the mosaics from this area often depict brutal shows of the Roman amphitheatre. Wild animals were thrown into the arena in those days so that spectators could see predators chase and eat their prey. That's the reason why rich inhabitants of the area decorate their houses with mosaics showing scenes of wild animals. And there's a museum nearby with some outstanding mosaics and a Roman African house reconstructed as it was originally. There are some mosaic workshops there that we can also have a look at, or at least one. So that will be a really good day. Next, we're going to visit Sousse. Now, Sousse is a very popular place for tourists. Many of you will have heard of Sousse, and you might, some of you, if you followed our trip to Tunisia, will remember the museum that I'm going to talk about. It's the Sousse Archaeological Mosaic Museum, and it was just amazing. Nothing could have prepared me for the sight of the mosaics that I saw there. The biggest mosaic museum in the world is in Tunis, the capital, called Bardo. That was closed when we went there last year, but that's open now. I'll talk more about that later. But this museum is the second largest mosaic museum in the world. And it's a fantastic collection of very ancient mosaics, beautifully presented, restored. The museum is just magnificent. And you also see other artefacts there. A lot of them were created in the times BC, so very, very, very old. Absolutely fantastic to visit. We also met our friend Hosnis, that many of you will know as Alpha Decor on Facebook, and we toured the museum with him, which was great. Now, the other thing that was really good to see in Sousse was the Medina. Absolutely charming. It was named as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1988 for its cultural and historical value and preservation from modern development. You feel like you've gone back in time when you go there, and each little stall is just, you feel like you're in another world. It's magnificent. Very, very hard to stop yourself from buying so many things there. And I just loved wandering around the Medina. Very, very beautiful, interesting. The people are friendly, they smile at you. Fantastic visit. So apart from the beach, which is very popular, we want to visit those particular places in Sousse. Next, we're going to make a trip to Tunis, which is the capital of Tunisia. Amazing place. Now, the best thing about Tunis for us is that we want to visit the Bardo Mosaic Museum, the biggest mosaic museum in the world. As I said before, we missed out on seeing it last year because it was closed for reconstruction, renovation, and it's now open, and on all accounts, it is incredible. Carla's already been there, of course, many times, so he knows all about it. And I can't wait to go there, and I can't wait to show everybody as well. Now, the other thing that is very, very charming as well is another Medina, the Tunis Medina, which is huge. These little cobblestone footpaths or pathways through the Medina. You feel like you've gone way, way, way back in time. You can buy anything you can possibly imagine. I don't even know where to start. Shoes, leather goods, clothes, decorative Tunisian clothes. What else, Carla? You can shout it out from behind. What else can you buy in the Medina? It's just like it's a feast for the eyeballs.
Don't forget Bambaluni.
Oh, and Bambaluni as well. For those people who don't know what Bambaluni is, I went mad for that when I was in Tunisia, but that's more in stalls out in the open. Bambaluni is a type of donut, Tunisian donut, that to me is the best tasting donut I have ever tasted. Crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside. Oh, it was just like I was in heaven. When we were in Tunis, we out in the big square, when you finish going into the souk, there was I was going to say young man, he wasn't a young man, an older man who had this gigantic flower hat on.
Jasmine.
Yes, with jasmine and roses and all sorts of things. And he loves to have photos taken with you with that hat on, and he loves to put the hat on you. And it's a beautiful, beautiful area and a bit of fun. So between the Bambaluni, the souk, the Mosaic Museum and the Flower Man, Tunis is a great place to visit. There's obviously lots of other things to visit in Tunis as well, but those are the things that we'd like to show you. Now, on that day, the same day, we'll also visit the very famous village called Sidi Bou Said, and this is the blue and white village, I suppose. Not just blue and white, it also has that magenta coloured bougainvillea growing everywhere. So it is just absolutely beautiful to wander around the streets there. Once again, you have all these fascinating shops with ceramics and Tunisian ceramics, which are very, very special. And they have mosaics on sale, little mosaics for tourists that are not too big. You can take back in your suitcases. Just about anything you can imagine you can buy there. But the style of the village is just stunning. And the views, you can see the ocean, the village is a little bit higher up. So if you walk down, you have this panorama of the sea and the white buildings with the blue doors and things. Doors are very, very special in Tunisia, and it feels like no door is the same, but they're always decorated, and you always wonder what's behind each door. I think I got a photo of myself taken in front of, I don't know, about 30 different doors. I kept on asking Klala, take a photo here, take a photo here, even with a Bambaluni in my hand. Okay, such a charming place. So the architecture is just a treat to see. Just wander around, the atmosphere is really incredible. There are a fair amount of tourists in the main street because it's so beautiful, everyone wants to go there. But you can also walk around some of the back streets too, which are much quieter and probably for more wealthy people to live, I would say. Big, magnificent houses. And for people who really like street art, there's some beautiful murals there as well. So that's really worth a visit. Next, we're going to visit Nablus. Now, Nablus is a city named after a Greek word, translated from Arabic, which means new city. And it's a fascinating place for me because it is the centre of ceramics in Tunisia. Absolutely fascinating. It all started earlier on, but two French ceramicists visited Nabil in the late 1800s and worked with the potters in Nabil to create a new style, one where their new techniques mixed with the old artisanal techniques in Nabil and came up with a new way of creating the most incredible ceramics. We visited, and we're hoping to visit, a factory which makes ceramics there, and we saw the women that were hand painting the ceramics. Absolutely fascinating, and they work so quickly, it's unbelievable. But those shops bring some spending money, because you are going to want to spend something on those ceramics that you see there, I can guarantee. The only thing that will be disappointing is that they have these huge, great big pots there that you can't possibly fit in your suitcase and return, which is most unfortunate because they are absolutely stunning. You often see those big pots outside these beautiful decorated doorways in Tunisia, and it just gives this lovely atmosphere. So today the ceramics are the real feature of Nabil, and you can see them everywhere. I was sort of looking from one side of the road to the other when we were travelling around with Klala's brother in the car. Oh, I wanted to stop at every single one. Really good prices too. So I bought a stack and put them in my hand luggage, way overweight, but thankfully no one at the airport checked the weight, and everything arrived home in Australia unbroken. So I feel very lucky. After visiting the ceramic shops and factories, what we want to do is have a coffee in one of the beautiful old cafes. There is another market. They've all got markets. This is a beautiful one in Nabil with coffee shops in the market, open air, just fantastic. So after we've had a coffee, maybe something to eat there, we will make our way back to Monastir. But on the way, there is another beautiful city called Hammamet. And in Arabic, it's the baths, hammam, Hammamet. And it's Tunisia's original resort town, very popular with holiday makers. And the planning rules in the past dictated that hotels there couldn't be taller than a tree. So Hammamet's buildings are built more horizontally, and it feels really different to the high-rise developments that spoil so many other Mediterranean resorts. We loved Hammamet, actually. I've told Klala a few times I wouldn't mind living there for at least part of the year anyway. Are you listening, Klala?
Yes.
And there is another part of Hammamet called Yasmin Hammamet, which Yasmin Hammamet, okay. And that's the port part of Hammamet, and that's where you go and see all the expensive yachts and restaurants and cafes along the port. Beautiful for a walk. There are mosaics there. I think I sat on a mosaic camel in Jasmine Hammamet, and it's another beautiful thing to see, especially in the evening when it's a little bit dark and the lights are on. Absolutely fascinating. So we hope you enjoy all those places. So on the last day of our tour, we want to spend some time back in our base of Monastir and explore that town a little bit. So we want to visit the tomb of Habib Bourguiba, who was the founding father of Tunisia, very famous president, and the tomb is this gigantic area, absolutely interesting, so interesting to go and see. There's the souk, the museum, lots of little things around there, another popular town to look at, very, very beautiful, and you know, I want you to sort of absorb and soak in the Tunisian atmosphere. That is really, really, really interesting. Some people wonder what the difference between Tunisia and Morocco are. It's hard for me to say because I haven't been to Morocco, but I think Tunisia has its very own ambience. So we hope that you can feel that while you're there. So we think that will keep you busy for about 10 days. We are also going to offer an option of staying on for another 3 days if you so wish, at extra expense. You don't have to, but some people have expressed an interest in staying a little bit longer because there's so much to see there. So this tour is really just a taste of Tunisia. We haven't got time to visit everything that there is to see, but we want to show you some of the things that particularly I enjoyed on my visit there. So come along and join us.